Hey y'all, welcome to this edition of Sketchy Friends, formerly Three Gals, Three Sketches, formerly Four Gals, Four Sketches, because we added a friend along in the process. So we decided the name needed an update. So we are Sketchy Friends. And what we do is we each pick a sketch, maybe a theme, a collection of paper, a company paper, and create four layouts, and we do not share them with each other. We see them when the video airs and like to see each other's take on the sketch and the additional product that we use, because along the way we added in a tool, a technique, something of that sort. So let's take a look at the first sketch. So our requirement for this round was 49 in market products and rub-ons. So this is the first layout I created using the sketch that Scylla Choice Bits of Bliss chose. And you can see everybody's videos. I'll link them in the description down below. And I used Rust and Revs and/or Rust and Revs 2, because I kind of have that all compiled together. And this is exactly why I bought this, was because my husband is a big car person and he loves classic cars. He works on them. He restores them. I mean, he can paint them, he can do body work, he can do motor work. It's just something he's done since he was a kid. So my layout is not as clustered and busy as the sketch. I just toned it down a bit, and this was the perfect background paper because I already had some of the lines going across the top. Now I did cut these out and added them to the top, and then we have another background piece of paper that I trimmed and a big frame, and then my photo is matted on a black piece of paper, and my title is in a different spot. I believe it was down here, but it made more sense to put the title over here. I did use some of the chicken wire and then the arrows going across the page. I believe these were in the embellishment pack or the laser cuts. I can't remember which at this time, because I made this layout right at the beginning when we decided what we were going to do. And then here's a little Brad, and this, was one piece, Mr. Fix-It. And then my rub-ons is right here. I'm not old, I'm a classic. And this that looks like a washi strip is also a rub-on. And then we have, this had to come from the laser cuts, this chain right here. So I really didn't have to do a lot of extra embellishing because we had this over here and I didn't want to cover it up. I wanted it to be part of my layout. And so that is the first layout. Okay, so that second sketch was the sketch that I chose, and it was a 49 and market sketch. And I used toddler, I believe it's Toddler Time from 49 and Market, because of this photo. I bought Toddler Time at the expo back in June. And so I saw somebody use that sketch, and instead of doing a strip of paper, they did a strip of frames, and I really liked that, and I wanted to create that look. I did have a lot of 49 and market frames, like the chipboard frames, but they were cream. And I don't mind mixing white and cream, but it was too much. So I ended up going to a Mente frame book that I had purchased at the expo probably 3 years back that I never touched. So I was glad to use that product, and I just cut out these frames. Now this is a 49 a market frame, and this is a 49 a market frame. So I just kind of, layered them down. And this is my grandson. He's homeschooled, but he's not homeschooled. He's not school age yet. He'll probably be homeschooled, but this was a picture day at his little half-day class he goes to play with other kids. And I just love this picture. And actually, he is not happy in that picture because he didn't like the shoes he was wearing. So, but he looks so serious. But it's not that he's serious, because he is very active and he's 100% boy. But he just looks serious in that. So for my strip, because I originally had torn this blue paper to kind of do it as a strip down the page, and I just didn't like how it looked. So I used some of it to back a few of the frames to give it some of that darker blue that he's wearing. And then I just added some embellishment pieces. Some of them were loose embellishment pieces. Some of them I cut off of embellishment for these little phrases, because that kind of, to me, represented school. These were some loose 49 and Market hearts. Well, you know what? I have some of these loose, and I think some of them came in the pack, but either way, they're 49 and Market. Added this little notebook tear here, and I think this was part of a cut apart. I just cut it out and put it behind the frame. And then my rub-ons are these little definitions right here. The best, the amazing, and awesome. So that is layout number 2 that I did. Okay, so for that sketch that was provided by Scrappy Jenny K, I had purchased over the past couple of years several of these Ultimate Page Kits. And so when I saw the strips of paper kind of in a semicircle, I wanted to use this paper. But all of that stuff was way too busy for my preference. So I pulled this sheet out of the kit and then used a loose sheet of 49 and Market paper that I had to create this layout. And I need to make it just a hair smaller. There. So this represents the strips of the paper. Now this was a piece of chipboard that was in the kit. And then I went into my stash and pulled out some old ribbon I had to add these. I think this one was from me and my big idea. This one has self-adhesive on the back, and it's still sticky because I have this in all different colors from back in the Lisa Burnson QVC days. That's where that came from. So I took a branding strip and added to the top to represent that strip at the top. And I used my 2 photos and put my title here. And then I, because there was some black here that I cut out of the actual piece of paper that this was on, I cut some of it out and left it. And so I wanted to add a little pop of black here and along here. And here's this little cluster down here. And so some of the items came from the kit, and some of them came from my wonderful tray of 49 and Market. And all this product was shared with me by Priscilla, because somebody shared a lot with her, so she shared it with me. So I kind of divided it in my trays as to, see, here's little hearts, florals, ribbons, and just little tuck spots. And this is like stems and leaves. I did throw those pumpkins in there, titles, little tags, little frames, and lots and lots of butterflies and little tabs. So I pulled from that. I think that's where these hearts came from, and this little bow. And this is that same stripe that came off of a piece of packaging. And I just cut it out and added it down here. So that is my third layout. So let's take a look at the last sketch that was provided by Curly Q Scrapper. So this is a compilation of 49 and Market, two different travel lines, the Everywhere and Wherever. So this background paper is from Wherever. This little cluster here came from a 49 and Market little, oh, I don't have it handy. I thought I had it out. But it's a embellishment cluster kit. So I just made this cluster, and instead of the layout being in this direction, I flipped it, the sketch, and did it in this direction. So it also had some splatters on it, which I did with Heidi Swap. This was the navy, and then it had like that brick. It looked like stenciled. So I did some stenciling with this dotted stencil. You can barely see it, but it's there. And I used this stencil right here. And instead of stitching around the frame, I have on my work area, I have a craft-a-lanch. I have a basket of rub-ons that need to get used. And I don't even know how long I had these. It's called wood stripes. So what I did is I just cut some of the stripes. I actually have two of these, and look. To me, that looks like a Big Lots tag, $1.25. These are old Sticko EK Success, and they still went on amazing. Your old rub-ons still work good. The newer ones, not so much. You can usually tell by the backing. If it's got a thin backing, it's going to dry up pretty quick and not stick. If it's a thicker backing, it'll still be good. So, yeah. So I just flipped it, and it had the big floral clusters like here and here. I opted not to do that because I had, you know, all the little items on the, on this one big cluster. And I just cut down 2 photos, and I'll probably add maybe some journaling here. This is just when I was going on my trip to New York and Canada this past spring, because I'm not a big traveler, and I like maybe day trips or a couple of day trips. I don't like to be gone for extended period of times. It's just a lot of hassle to get ready to go on a trip, and especially if both my husband and I go, because we have a dog, we have chickens, we have goats, so we'd have to find somebody to take care of them, and we don't just leave them, want to leave them in anybody's care. Oh, yeah, I'm still recording. I didn't see my thing recording, so I'm still recording. So that is the last layout, and I really enjoyed this series, and I hope everyone still wants to continue to do it. We already have plans for our next go around next quarter. What I really like about it is because it's not a sketch that I pick. So if there's something I don't care for on the sketch, it makes me use my creative muscle and find a way to adjust it to where it will work for what I want to do. It also has delved me into products that I have and have not used. I don't have a ton of 49 in market, but sometimes I have a hard time using it, and I have used it for a few layouts. And then, so it stretches me that way, and we also add a technique, a tool, like this time was the rub-ons. So I'll give you a little hint about next quarter: embossing folders. So I encourage you to get out your embossing folders, because we buy them, we love them, and then we just kind of forget about them sometimes. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.